Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, the 21st of April. Today is Holocaust Remembrance Day, Yom HaShoah. It actually began last night at sundown, and then it will end tonight at sundown. It's a global day of Holocaust remembrance. Sometimes people also celebrate the anniversary of the liberation of concentration camp Auschwitz. Ceremonies are held at various synagogues, and there's a beautiful candle lighting ceremony called Candles of Remembrance. I have already taken care of that for us. Last night I was reading an article, and in the article the author was talking about how hatred is also a virus that had particular, meaning for me and for all of us. We're not forgetting. Elie Wiesel said that it's that bearing witness, the desire to bear witness, to remember what he saw when he was in the concentration camp is what kept him going. It's what kept him alive. So we too are bearing witness. We're infusing our minds with the qualities of character, the noble and virtuous qualities of character of the great beings you researched, the great beings you wrote these amazing research papers about. And also you're investing in your future. So we're not forgetting, we're bearing witness. I'd like to begin today with chapter 6, pages 21 to 24. And I want to call your attention to two kind of main ideas. One is, who are these men in black? And why does Stop Thief misunderstand the way the Nazis are treating them? And secondly, two things that are going on simultaneously. Stop Thief's confusion about his identity and the redefinition of his identity. Stop Thief reminds Yuri of his younger brother, Yosef, and we can see that. He's loving, he's caring, he's nurturing, he provides for him, he's teaching him how to be strong, he's teaching him how to survive. And Yuri, in this moment, is playing a parental role. So Stop Thief is younger brother, Yuri is more like a parent. It reminds me of the scene in Sarni when she reflected on how she and Lucy and Miss Laura and even little Tyler too, the little boy who didn't speak, became a family. They found each other. And I think this is a brilliant example of what happens during these kinds of situations where people who have lost so much come together and they fulfill human needs for family and for nurturing, for love. All right, let's take a look in chapter 6. I'll read it to you. Yuri and I walked outside the next morning to see how it was different. The tanks were gone. The jackboots were strolling about just like us. They looked at the people and spoke to each other. I couldn't stop staring at them. A crowd was running. We turned a corner. There was a large truck with the back open. Soldiers were tossing loaves of bread. The people grabbed and scrambled. We munched our cheeses, watching. I was fascinated. I had not known bread could be given. So you might be wondering, why are the Nazis feeding the Jews if they wanted to kill them? Well, first of all, this bread is probably moldy. Second of all, maybe they want to give them a false sense of trust about who they are. How can these Nazis be, bad and want to hurt us if they're also giving us bread? We walked on. We came to another crowd of people gathered around something on the sidewalk. Don't, Yuri said. But I did. I squeezed my way to the front. There was a man in a long black coat on his hands and knees. He had a long gray beard. Beside him was a bucket of water. He was dipping his beard into the water and scrubbing the sidewalk with the beard. A pair of jackboot soldiers stood above him, laughing. Some of the people were laughing too. The man in black was not laughing. This is very important. For one, it shows you the role of bystander, so the people who are observing how the Nazi soldiers are humiliating this Hasidic man. Hasidic men wore these long black coats, had very, very long black, dark beards. They wore a black hat, and they had along the side of their faces these sort of curly pieces of hair. They're called payas, and they represent aspects of their religion and their culture and their faith. And in this part of Poland, there were many, many, many Hasidic communities. So that's what's going on here. So people are laughing. My guess is that these people are bystanders. They're in fear. They don't know how to respond. They know if they tell the Nazi soldiers to stop doing this, they probably will get shot. They're afraid. I came back to Yuri. I tugged on his arm. Come see. There's a man cleaning the sidewalk with his beard. Yuri smacked my head. You're stupid. He pulled me away. Farther on, we saw something else that made us stop. Two soldiers were standing in front of another bearded man in black. One of the soldiers had a pair of scissors. He was cutting off the man's beard and the black hair that came curling down over his ears. So this is humiliating. And this is kind of one step toward the extermination of the Jewish people by desecrating their religion and their culture. I ran up to the soldiers. Bring him to our place, I said. We live in a barber shop. He can sit in our red chair. We have bottles of hair tonic. Now, this is an example of Stop Thief's childhood innocence. He doesn't understand. He doesn't have a GPS system for danger. His loving nature is expressed here in his desire to help this man. The soldiers stared at me. Yuri grabbed me. He said words to them that I could not understand. The soldiers laughed. Yuri yanked me away. We heard the soldiers laughing behind us. I thought, men in beards and long black coats do not laugh. This is very important. When Yuri spoke to the Nazis, he said words to them I could not understand that implied that Yuri spoke German. And I think this tells us something about who Yuri is and where he came from. We don't really know. We don't know a lot about Yuri. We know he had a younger brother. We know he barely remembers his parents. We know that he sees Stop Thief as a reminder of Yosef, his brother, and he also speaks German. So let's just kind of remember that. Later that day, we sat on our beds eating chocolate babkas. So babka is like a muffin, kind of a dessert. Yuri said, stay away from the jackboots. They smile, I said. They hate you. I laughed. They don't hate us. They say, very good, little gypsy. They salute me. I want to be a jackboot. He smacked me in the face. My babka went flying. You're not a jackboot. You'll never be a jackboot. You are what you are. And this shows you the confusion that Stop Thief has. He doesn't understand. He thinks that the way that the Nazis are smiling at the people, giving them bread, strolling around in the community, that kind of thing. He doesn't understand evil. I gathered up my babka. Still, I wanted to be right about something. The people love the tanks, I said. They ran to see them. They watched. They hate the tanks. Someone threw a flower. He gave a snort. Coward. If the jackboots say, kiss the tanks behind, some people will do it. I laughed, thinking of the tanks behind. So again, this is important. This is about the role of the bystander. Stop Thief doesn't understand that. He thinks that the people who are lining the street are admiring the tanks or cheering that the Nazis are marching into Warsaw. Bystanders will often follow along, with people, even though they see harm, they see something bad happening, and they don't do anything about it. As I lay in bed that night, Yuri's voice came through the darkness. You need a name. I have one, I said, a real one. I doubted him. You should have one, that's all. I want to know what to call you. And this is very important. Yuri wants to give him dignity. He wants to give him an identity. He wants to give him that very quality that he lost and that the Nazis have taken away from him. Call me stupid. He laughed. You don't remember what your parents called you? I don't remember parents. We were silent. I moved my fingertips over my yellow stone. So this yellow stone, again, is the stone that he wears around the leather necklet, around the leather strip. It's his early memory of his life before the ghetto. I remember a booming laugh and bright colors, the smell of horse and the taste of something sweet, riding someone's shoulder and hair glittering in firelight. At last, Yuri's voice came again. I had a little brother. Is he dead? Yes, I think so. He must be. Did he have a name? Yosef. Was he little like me? He was. He was growing fast. So now we know for sure that Yuri had a little brother. Do you remember your parents? Yes, but less and less. So this, death of memory, death of the memory of your family, of your parents, of your brothers, of your sisters, is part of the extermination of the Jewish people. I asked in the darkness, do you remember riding a shoulder? But no answer came. I closed my eyes and I thought over and over of Yuri's words. You are what you are, which is what, I wondered. Now, this shows us that Stop Thief is trying to figure out who he is. He's redefining who he is in the world. In my mind, I saw the man in black scrubbing the sidewalk with his beard, and the other man laughing, laughing soldiers with the scissors, snip, snip, and the hair falling to the sidewalk, black hair falling. It's very important memory here, because the cutting away of the Hasidic man's payas and his beard is a stripping away of the parts of his being that represent his culture. And you can contrast that with an earlier scene when Yuri washes Stop Thief's hair, cuts it, makes it look nice, gives Stop Thief a sense of newness. So you have death here and you have newness. This is the dying away of identity, and also for somebody like Stop Thief, redefining his identity. My eyes popped open, though in the blackness there was nothing to see. They're Jews, I blurted. Yuri snorted. Who says you're stupid? Okay, so on this global Holocaust Remembrance Day, keep a light in your heart and in your mind, and never forget, and have a wonderful day.